Um, Now, time to move on to some interesting stuff. Well, some more interesting stuff. It's trade season. The trade deadline is coming up November 2nd, which is next week from when we're recording this. And Deshaun Watson is on the trade market still. Um, of course, with everything that was surrounding Deshaun Watson's name at the start of the season, there was a lot of trade talks happening. And reports are coming out this week that those trade talks are now heating up. Um, and with the trade deadline coming up in a week, as I mentioned, I want to get some of you guys' trade destinations and potential trade packages that we could see for Deshaun Watson. So this time I'm coming to you first, Jen. Can you let me know what your trade packages are for Deshaun Watson?
I mean, everybody's rumor that, it seems like the Dolphins is front running everybody, um, which I can see a possibility of Deshaun getting traded to Miami for two first round picks, obviously, one this year and one next year. Most likely it's going to be the San Francisco pick from Miami because Miami doesn't have their own pick this year in the first round because they traded dumbly to the Phillies. And then obviously one of those picks, whether it be this year or next year, is going to be a conditional pick where the condition is that Deshaun is not going to jail. And I can see, some packages, maybe a second round and a third round coming up, in 2022 for him. It's going to be a huge trade, of course, but I think at the end, I don't think Deshaun's going to get traded before the trade deadline, even though, everybody's saying that, it's been heating up, he's going to get traded. But it's almost like we're in the same situation as the Aaron Rodgers trade in the beginning of the season, where, insiders are coming out and saying that, hey, Aaron's going to get traded because he's saying this, saying that. He hates the GM. Gunter Kunz is, essentially a stooge at this point. Um, but it just seems like nothing is going to get traded. Nobody's going to ditch Sean. He's going to stay in the Texans, working out every single day and collect almost $2 million a week.
Jeez. Brandon, do you think Deshaun Watson is getting traded? If so, can you give me your a trade package and a trade destination for him?
I want this to be true. If you've been listening, you heard my entire rant on why Deshaun needs to play in the NFL. So I want this to happen so badly, but it feels like it's being forced to the media. Like it doesn't feel like it's really happening. It just feels like there was sort of a lot of drama, and then there was a bit of a lull, and now they're trying to fill the gap with more drama. So I don't think it'll happen, but I would love to see it happen. Um, and I know this goes against almost every bone in my body, but I think Miami's going to be where he lands. It doesn't matter what deal works best for the Texans. It doesn't matter who wants him the most, all because he has a no trade clause. He has to okay the move anyway. And as it stands, according to the information that is publicly available, the only destination he's approved is Miami. So it doesn't matter who's ready to sell the farm if Deshaun does not want to play there. So I'm going to have to go with Miami. And it hurts me to say that because in the AFC East, Deshaun Watson would play the Patriots twice a year. And I don't know if I love that particularly. Um, but I'd like to see him play. And I guess if that's the sacrifice I have to make, then I'll have to swallow it. So I think if he gets traded, he's going to go to Miami. I don't know if that's going to be a 2-team deal or somehow we're going to work in a 3-team deal where somebody also trades a first round and Tua goes elsewhere. I don't know if they're really sold on Davis Mills or Tyrod Taylor as the future. So, like, what have you got to lose by taking Tua? There are a few teams out there with some quarterback troubles that Tua could potentially replace, and maybe switching a system would help him as well. So I think he's going to Miami. I don't know what the trade would be.
This might be a wild trade, but I can see maybe a 4 team trade at this point, um, which might be the wildest thing I'll say today, um,
What do
which
you
will
got?
be so it would be the Texans trading away Deshaun to the Panthers. Panthers trade, obviously getting a first round pick from them, and then Sam Darnold going into Denver. Denver, you know, maybe pays a third or fourth round, which then gets moved to the Texans, so that there's draft capital, and then I can see Jimmy G out of San Fran for a pick as well, where Jimmy G could ultimately land in Houston to be, that sort of like gap player, um, a couple first round picks, and it kind of shakes up. I mean, this would be like a high, it'd be a super low chance of this happening, but I think one of the things that we got to highlight is that Jimmy G might be on the trading block if San Fran is rebuilding with Lance to build up capital because they got nothing.